Good morning. Thanks for joining us on CTV News Channel. I'm Scott Hurst. We begin with federal politics taking center stage in a rural Alberta riding. Advanced voting begins today in the federal by-election in the Alberta riding of Battle River-Crowfoot. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is hoping to win the riding and secure his return to the House of Commons. Because of the record number of candidates, Elections Canada is using a special ballot where voters will write down the name of the candidate they're voting for. Speaking yesterday, Poilievre lashed out at the longest ballot campaign that also targeted his riding in the last federal election, saying he believes anyone who truly wants to run should be allowed to.
But that's not what these people are doing. They're adding their names even though they're not campaigning. They don't expect to win. They just want to inundate the ballot to confuse the situation, make it harder for people to vote, people with vision problems, the elderly, others who have difficulty are going to have a harder time voting, and it shouldn't be.
Advanced polls are open from 9 a.m. local time to 9 p.m. for the next 4 days. Election day is Monday, August 18th. Joining me now is Lori Williams, political analyst at Mount Royal University. Lori, I always appreciate your time. So voters will be filling out a blank ballot with more than 200 candidates on the ballot. Walk us through what voters will need to know.
Well, in essence, many of them will be voting in a way they haven't before. If you have voted far in advance of an election, let's say you're going on vacation before the advanced polls, previously you would have to fill in a ballot where you write the name of the candidate that you want to vote for. But most of us are accustomed in most elections just putting an X next to the name of the person that we choose, and that's not going to be what people face with this ballot. I think there's going to have to be a lot of explanation. It's going to probably take longer to count. And you're showing that list of candidates. It's really interesting that most of them have the same representative, one agent that represents about 202 of the candidates by my count, which means that most of the names on that list are going to be completely unfamiliar. They've never set foot in the riding, and people are going to be trying to find the candidates, the names of the candidates that they want if they don't, let's say, know how to spell them. It's going to take a little longer, be a little bit more confusing, particularly for folks that are set in their ways and not accustomed to this way of voting at all.
And we heard Poilievre express frustration with this longest ballot initiative. Or are we seeing more of this kind of protest? Of course, we saw it in the previous election in his Ottawa riding as well.
And we saw it in two previous by-elections as well. Now, the point of the longest ballot committee is to call attention to what they say is an insufficiently democratic voting process or electoral system. But of course, this is actually interfering with the efficiency, the effectiveness of the voting system. It's making it harder for people to vote, not easier. In other words, democratic expression is going to be more difficult, and this might actually turn some people off from even showing up at the polls, especially in the middle of summer in a community that is largely focused on farming and ranching, and those who serve those who are in farming and ranching. It could actually deter voter turnout, which already tends to be low in by-elections.
You mentioned it appears most of the names are part of this longest ballot campaign, but there are some other candidates in the mix who are strong local voices.
Yeah, Bonnie Critchley is getting a ton of coverage on mainstream media and social media. She's an independent, a veteran, talks about her service to the country and to her community, and is contrasting that contribution, that connection to the community. She's contrasting that to Pierre Poilievre, who doesn't live there, who had really nothing to do with the riding prior to starting to run for this by-election. And for Pierre Poilievre, this combination of factors could be problematic, because he's looking at his predecessor getting almost 83% of the vote in the riding. He gets much less than 83%. That, I think, is going to make his leadership a little bit more difficult to justify and maintain. And of course, we know he's facing a leadership review in the new year.
All right, advanced voting begins in just a little bit. Lori Williams, political analyst at Mount Royal University. Always appreciate your time. Thanks, Lori.
Thank you, Scott.